Our next story comes from Japan, where a corporate behemoth has fallen. We're talking about the electronics giant Toshiba. Today, after 74 years, Toshiba was delisted from the Tokyo Stock Exchange. The company is no longer a publicly listed firm. Instead, it will now be a private company owned by a consortium led by Japan Industrial Partners, or JIP. It's a private equity firm. JIP and its partners bought Toshiba in September for 2 trillion yen. That's about $14 billion US, and the consortium took Toshiba private today. But how did it come to this? Toshiba was a Japanese powerhouse, a 150-year-old company. How did it fall from grace? It's a story about bad luck, worse management, and external interference. It began in 2008 with a global financial crisis. That's the bad luck part. Like most other firms, Toshiba was hit by the Great Recession. But unlike others, Toshiba did not deal with the setback honestly. Instead of reporting losses, its CEO wanted to show profits. So the company indulged in accounting malpractices. This is where the worst management comes in. For 8 years, Toshiba overstated its operating profits. This was to the tune of $1.2 billion. And this went on till 2015. That's when the accounting scandal came to light. It went public. And it shook public faith in the company. 3 successive CEOs oversaw this scandal. Do you know what the investigation says? The CEOs did not directly ask anyone to cook the books. They just put pressure on their subordinates. And Japan's corporate culture did the rest. It produced the tainted results. This investigation and this scandal was also an indictment of Japanese work culture. It showed how workers are completely obedient to their superiors, how they would go to any lengths to deliver results, including cooking the books. This reeks of bad corporate governance and a lack of safeguards. But the story does not end there. After the scandal came to light in 2015, Toshiba said it would change. And that should have been that. But the very next year, bad luck would strike again. In 2016, Toshiba took a gamble. Its US subsidiary pledged to construct a power plant. It would cost about $7 billion. But later that year, the subsidiary went bankrupt. It left Toshiba holding the bill. So they had a $7 billion loss on their hands, and this caused their share prices to tank. Toshiba then went into damage control mode, selling off prized assets to stem the bleeding. It sold its mobile phone business, also the medical systems, but it wasn't enough. So the company still needed a bailout, and it got one in 2017 from foreign investors, which is where the third problem began: external interference. You see, Toshiba is a 150-year-old Japanese company. It had its fingers in a slew of businesses, from electronics to power to infrastructure. It was once considered a critical asset by the Japanese government. So it was given plenty of leeway by domestic shareholders. But the 2017 cash injection came from overseas, and these investors had some expectations. They started demanding changes from the Japanese management. This led to a power struggle. Then the Japanese government allegedly got involved. Japan's trade ministry colluded with Toshiba to suppress the foreign investors, and this led to more external interference and more chaos at Toshiba. The company never recovered from all of this. It eventually decided to opt for a buyout, and that's how we are here today, with Toshiba going private. And there are lessons to learn from this saga. Chief among them is honesty. Bad times will hit every company. The balance sheet will look bad sometimes, but shady accounting is not the solution. Sooner or later, you will get caught. And the fallout can even bury a centuries-old organization.